What is up? Welcome back to the channel. So I said I was going to update this thing, and I have. It is way more packed now than it was, and it's not cardboard holding it up like that anymore. If you guys didn't see the first video, probably not linked up there, but it is on the channel. This is the Ozark Trail survival kit. It has some pretty decent stuff in it that I left in here, and then a bunch of gimmicky and extra stuff like multiple whistles that I got rid of. Added in my own stuff. Again, just my take on this. Your mileage may vary. Let's get in here. All right. So what all have I added in here? Well, we got rid of a bunch of the random stuff and we added in some stuff. Bandana, just 100% cotton bandana. Tons of uses. Nice Mylar blanket, space blanket if you will. I added in a much larger chunk of paracord. That tons of uses, but that's to go along with if we have to make a down and dirty shelter, then we have that option. Before we get too far along, let's go in this little pocket up here. So I added in one of my little small vacuum sealed fire kits. This is just a real basic kit. It's just got some wood matches, striker, and some cotton material in there with a couple of tender quicks. That little chainsaw. Yeah, this is kind of gimmicky, but they actually do work if you know their limitation. It's amazing how much gear works if you know its limitations. I left a little aluminum whistle in here. I gave it a try. It actually does work fairly decent. I'm not gonna do it to save your ears. I left a little carabiner in here primarily just because this can be used to hang this little pack up or whatever if you need to, and it doesn't weigh anything. And I left the little survival card thing in here. I'm not sold on these, okay? I'm not saying that they're not useful, and that's why I left it in here. It does have a few things on here that could be useful in a situation. So I left it in there. Again, it doesn't weigh much, it doesn't take up much space, so for no bigger than it is, it does have, albeit very small, it does have some little wrenches and stuff on there. That could come in handy in an emergency. The head net, I left this in here of course. I'm a big fan of having a head net in your kits, especially, I'm in the desert. We don't get mosquitoes a lot, but in the areas that we do get them, it's by the million. Not to mention what I like to call our vampire gnats. This will definitely help with those. I left the little wax coated jute cord in here. Again, fire starter. I'm not going to pull it out, but I left the cordage that it came with, the small nylon and the orange paracord style. And I left the shovel. Is this thing great? No, but it'll dig a cat hole, and you know, it'll help you build a little small spot to make a fire. I will say there's a couple other things that I considered putting in here, and I might. Someone mentioned putting some foil folded up. That's a great idea, and I actually have foil folded up in some of my other fire kits. I just didn't throw any in here. Very good idea, and I may go ahead and throw it in here. Added a lighter, just a regular Bic lighter with some Gorilla Tape around it. Always your first line to make a fire is just a plain lighter. I went ahead and left the glow sticks. I mean, why not? I did leave both knives. This one, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Most of Ozark Trail's knives, not all, but most, aren't horrible. They're not great, but they're not horrible. At least you have a means of cutting. I left the little multi-tool knife in here because it does have screwdrivers and whatnot on it, so that could come in handy. I did leave the ferro rod and striker that it came with. Fire, you gotta have fire. So this is a little kit that I have put together. I put these together and I just put them in pretty much all my bags, and all this is a kind of little bit of everything pack. So I've got some more Gorilla Tape in there. I've got some earplugs. I've got 2 of those little pills that you drop water on and they expand up into a towel. There's some band-aids, there's a safety pin, a few different safety pins, there's some matches. I think this kit may not have it in there. If it doesn't, I will be adding in some of the little small binder clips. I actually thought this one had it in here, so I'm glad I did this video. again, we all make mistakes. I forgot to throw binder clips in here. And what the binder clips are for, this is one of the big 5x8 emergency blankets. I mean, it is, but this is the big one. As you can see, it's got a picture of a guy laying there and stuff. You can make a little shelter out of it or wrap your entire body in it. So these are a little bit heavier duty, and they're colored on one side. This one just happens to be green. I think they make them in orange. There might be a couple of companies that make them in blue as well. The regular Mylar blanket on the other side, they're just a little heavier duty. Not a lot, but a little bit. So you can take this, take the binder clips, and take your paracord, put the binder clip over the, hang on, let me grab some. Hold please. Okay, so small binder clips. I bought a variety pack on Amazon. So what you do is on your paracord, try to get the orange behind us so it's easier to see this. Put these over, and now these will move back and forth a little bit, and you can just bring them up and catch the paracord and help stop that, or you can tie knots on your paracord. But basically you take that, put it over your paracord, you make a ridge line, put this over it, put that over this, I'll get it right in a minute. Then you clip this over there, grabbing onto it, and now this keeps your emergency blanket in place. You can even flip these down to give it a little bit more rigidity. But now I didn't come up with that idea all by myself. I actually learned that on someone else's channel, but it's just great. You take these, then you can just clip this, and you can do an A-frame, you can do a little lean-to, and use these to clip your emergency blanket onto your paracord. And then these aren't going to rip it as easily as you trying to do the whole rock and knot trick. I don't know if you guys have seen that, where you put it in there, make a little rock button thing and wrap your cord around it. Anyway, these are quick. Then you can just pop it all loose, fold it back up, shove it back in here, and you can reusability. So now we have shelter, a means to help keep the bugs off. We have a means of making fire. We have a means of cleaning up a little bit if we need to. No, this doesn't have water in it. No, this doesn't have water treatment tabs, and that's because this is more of a survival. I'm stuck somewhere for a little while. I'm waiting on a tow truck, or my battery died and I don't have cell signal, so I'm gonna have to hike, but it's getting late, so I just need to set up a quick keep me alive shelter, get me through the night, and then march on in the morning. I was considering putting like maybe a Sawyer Mini in here, which would work well. You know, if you have a place that you can go procure some water, you can use the Sawyer Mini and drink directly from it. This really isn't big enough for a full-size Life Straw. For me personally, I don't feel comfortable putting the treatment tabs in the back of my car when it gets 120 plus degrees out here in the summer. I'd rather just have a Sawyer Mini. If I can get to water that I'm going to be able to, get in order to treat, then I will be able to also just fill up the Sawyer Mini little squeeze bag and just drink from that. So that's probably the route I'll take on that. But this is just some of the upgraded stuff that I put in here. I'm glad that I did this and then shot this video, because now I know I forgot to put the little binder clips in here. I'll be adding those, and I also need to dig out one of my Sawyer Minis. It'll fit on this other side. That paracord went right here. I'll put the Sawyer Mini right here with its bag wrapped around it. Updated it, got rid of a lot of the gimmicky stuff, kept a little bit of the gimmicky stuff, but now we have a survival kit. Again, it's survival. It's not camping, it's not bushcraft. This is just to have stuff to be able to get through a night or two until help arrives or you can get out of there. Hope you guys enjoyed. Till the next one, take care.